Batman, Mask of Phantasm is one of the greatest Batman movies in DC, and in my personal opinion, one of the greatest Batman movies ever. I'll be discussing the importance of the final battle between Phantasm, the Joker, and Batman. The final fight consisting of 5 key moments, that being the showdown in the World's Fair, the confrontation between Batman and the Joker, the arrival of the Phantasm, Batman's dilemma, and the explosive finale. I'll be covering why the final fight is one of the greatest Batman fights in history and the significance of the movie for the Batman character. Batman has had many great foes and many memorable fights in the past. But this final fight not only pushed him physically, but showed us his limits mentally, often showing us the unseen side of the Dark Knight. This battle was one of his most emotionally and physically demanding ones. This final showdown takes place in the dilapidated Gotham's World Fair, a setting that reflects the broken dreams and shattered ideals of the characters involved. The fair once symbolized hope and progress, but now serves as a decayed, chaotic battleground, mirroring the moral corruption of Gotham in itself. Its significance. The setting underscores the theme of lost idealism. Both Batman and the Phantasm have both lost their hope for a better future, and the Joker thrives in the environment of decay, symbolizing how he feeds off on the destruction of hope and order. Confrontation between Batman and the Joker. Batman and the Joker engage in a brutal and chaotic fight that emphasizes their contrasting philosophies. The Joker's madness and unpredictability are on full display as he uses his environment to his advantage, creating a sense of chaos that challenges Batman's calculated and disciplined approach. This fight highlights the internal struggle between order, that being Batman, and chaos, that being the Joker. The Joker's use of the ruined fair's attractions like the flying miniature planes symbolizes how he twists remnants of the past into tools of mayhem. The arrival of the Phantasm. The Phantasm, revealed to be Andrea Beaumont, enters the fray, seeking vengeance against the Joker for murdering her father. Her presence adds a layer of personal vendetta and tragedy to the battle, as she is driven by the emotions that Batman has long tried to suppress. Andrea's transformation into the Phantasm represents the path that Batman could have taken had he succumbed to his darker impulses. Her quest for vengeance contrasts with Batman's commitment to justice, further exploring the thin line Batman walks between vengeance and heroism. Batman's dilemma. Batman is caught between stopping the Joker and preventing Andrea from becoming a murderer. He tries to save both her and Gotham, showcasing his unwavering moral code even when faced with impossible choices. This moment emphasizes Batman's complexity as a character. He's not just fighting physical battles but moral ones as well, trying to save those around him from becoming what he fights against. The explosive finale. Joker later reveals that he wired the entire place to explode within 5 minutes, and that he plans to get away on a field jetpack. As he attempts to fly away, Batman launches onto him and sabotages his jetpack. They tussle mid-air, ultimately forcing them to crash back into the ground. While wounded and injured on the ground, Andrea, the Phantasm, now appears and attempts to take Joker's life. Batman then pleads with Andrea to stop her from crossing that line of murder, but Andrea seeks vengeance for her dead father. In doing so, Andrea and the Joker both disappear in a mist, leaving Batman to fend for himself on the fairground with 2 minutes to spare before the explosions go off, leaving him for dead. Batman manages to narrowly escape with his life as he falls to the cracked floor when the explosion went off. The ambiguity of the Joker's fate and Andrea's disappearance adds a haunting end to the story. The open-ended nature of the conclusion reflects on the unresolved nature of Batman's struggle. He may have survived the encounter, but the emotional and psychological scars remain. Why it's one of the greatest Batman fights and one of my personal favorites. Its emotional depth. Unlike many Batman fights that focus on the physical prowess, this battle is emotionally charged, with deep personal stakes for all the characters involved. Batman is fighting not just to defeat his enemy, but to save someone he once loved from being consumed by darkness. And psychological complexity. The battle is not just about who is stronger or who is smarter. It's a confrontation of ideologies, with Batman's sense of justice clashing with Andrea's desire for revenge and the Joker's embodiment of chaos. Well-constructed storytelling. The fight is the combination of the film's themes and character arcs. It ties together with the tragic love story between Bruce and Andrea, the haunting memories of Batman's origins, and the eternal conflict with the Joker. The battle is as much about the character's internal struggles as it is about the physical confrontation. The significance of The Mask of Phantasm as one of the best Batman movies ever. The exploration of Batman's origin. The Mask of Phantasm offers one of the most in-depth explorations of Bruce Wayne's transformations into Batman. It delves into his guilt over his parents' death, his struggle with his vow to crime, and his near decision to abandon that vow for love. Its tragic love story. The relationship between Bruce and Andrea is essential to the film, offering a rare glimpse into Batman's personal life and what could have been if not for this commitment to justice. The story adds layers to tragedy and depth, making the film more than just a typical superhero narrative. Its complex villains. Both the Joker and the Phantasm are multi-dimensional villains. The Joker is as chaotic and terrifying as ever, while the Phantasm introduces a new kind of villain, one driven by grief and loss, reflecting what Bruce could have become under different circumstances. Its mature themes. The film tackles mature themes like love, loss, revenge, and the morality of vigilantism. It's a Batman story that appeals to both children and adults with a narrative that respects the intelligence of its audience. Its artistic excellence. The animation, voice acting, and score composed by Shirley Walker are all top-notch, creating an atmospheric and immersive experience that rivals any live-action Batman film. Batman, Mask of Phantasm remains a high watermark in Batman's cinematic history because of its emotional depth, complex characters, and the way it weaves together action and story to create a compelling and memorable experience.